Hello and welcome. We're going to try to push our code to GitHub. So you use Git and GitHub for version control so that you can keep track of the changes that you make in your code and also have your code stored in both locally or on the internet using GitHub so that you have a copy there. You can always go there to clone it or use it, and other people can also collaborate with you on the same project. So we're going to be trying to do that, and to do that we're not going to be using the terminal. We're going to be using the modern way of doing it, which is actually using the source control. You can see this source control here in VS Code. That's what we're going to be using. So the code we built so far, we're going to push it to GitHub so that you listening to me, you can easily download, you can easily clone this very project and continue to work with it, or be working with it as I'm teaching you, so that both of us will be doing the same thing. Okay, so this is what we've done so far. The last class we did was on Dockerizing the project. Okay, so I'm going to quickly get to this very source control tab. Just click on it. So once you click on it, you're going to see it's telling us to initialize a repo. Repo simply means a folder, or repository means a folder that has, or the folder that is housing our codes. So it's also telling us to publish this our code to GitHub. GitHub is in the cloud, it's on the internet, so it's like it's like the hub where everybody can push his own code or his own project, and so that it makes it easy for collaboration and for you to keep a copy there, so that you have an extra copy there in case you, or at the times you need them. Okay, so I'm going to click on initialize repo. Okay, so yeah, so this project is now initialized, so you can see all the files that I've created. So this U simply means untracked, so I've not tracked any of these, so I can start tracking them one by one by clicking this plus button to stage them. So once you click a block button, it changes from U to A. This means that it has been added. So this very file docker ignore has been added. So if I want to add another one, say this package.json, I can just click on plus. It's now changed from U to A. So package.json is added now. But now I want to add all of them. I don't want to just add few and leave the rest, because I want to make sure that everything here is added to the Git. So once you want to add, you just get there, you click the add. You can see once you click the add, it gets up here, so you can keep adding all of them. So you can see I have as many as I have plenty codes here, so I can simply come up here. So if you also come to these changes, you can also unstage all files. So I can click here to unstage all files, so all of them are back to you. Okay, then I can now click here to add all the changes. I want to add all of them at once, so I click here back again. So all of them are going to go from U to A. You can see all of them are now added. So once they are added, I want to commit. So before you commit, you have to put in a commit message. So I'm gonna put initial setup, because that's the initial code I wrote. This is the first commit I'm making. So if you're working in a big company, you might be expected to put something like, if it's a feature, you put feature, then you put a colon. So I say initial setup before you do that. Then if it is about you're just writing some code, rudimentary code for setup, you can put sure in front. But this is actually both, I did both sure and feature for this, so I'm gonna simply make it a feature. So I'm gonna fit. So if it is a fix, like the changes you want to commit is just a fix, you can write fix like this. If it is refactor, you just refactor the code, you can call it refactor. Okay, so you can put that prefix in order for you to know what you actually did. Then the second one becomes the description of what you did. So for me, I'm going to say fit, because I actually created some features. So I can now, under description, say initial code setup. Okay, so I click on the commit button in order for me to commit these changes. Okay, so all these changes that I've just made now, they are all committed now, so they are now in my local Git. Now I want to take all these changes and push them to the GitHub so that I can have it up there. So in order for do that, you can see here I have a publish branch. So the current branch I'm using is the master branch. I can actually change this branch. So this is the branch. You can see create new branch. So I can actually create a new branch. So I can call the new branch develop and press the enter key. So this is develop branch. So I can publish this very develop branch by clicking on publish branch. So once I click on publish branch, it's going to ask me, do I want this my branch to be a public directory or a private directory? If I make it public, you can download it, anybody can work with it. If you make it private, it's only me that can access it. So depending on the one you are going to do. So first of all, I'm going to make it private, then later on I'll make it public so that you can see how the two of them work. So for the private, I click here. So it says publish code to publish to GitHub. You can see it's publishing to GitHub now. It's uploading all the files. So all the files that I have in my system locally, they are going to GitHub. Would you like to run git fetch? Successfully published. So it has published. So I can open GitHub and see this very project. Okay, so you can see now microservices. This is the project microservices, and it's having all these. So you can see the auth folder and the Q&A. Those are the only two folders that has file in them. That's why the two of them are here. The other ones that don't have files, they are not here. So if I go back here to my code, you can see when I go to this, you see I have a lot of microservices, but the only two microservices that have file in them is the Q&A and auth. So that's why when you come here, you have the Q&A and auth. So by the time I keep feeding information on the other ones, I'll be able to also see them here. Okay, so that's how you can push your code. You can see this is my GitHub name, and this is the GitHub project, which is microservices. So if I click on this, I should be able to see the files inside them. See the src, docker ignore, dockerfile package.json. If I click on the src, I should be able to see the index file there. Okay, so this is very, very okay. So all my files are now here. So if I go back again and I want to make more files, say if I come to the front end or the LMS, or okay, let me take it for instance the LMS. If I come to the LMS and I create a new file, okay, let me just come to the LMS and simply do if I see cd LMS learning management system, so I'm in the LMS now. So in the LMS I can simply do npm node package manager init-y. So I want to run the initial setup for this. So there will be a file now. I know that's package.json for LMS now. Okay, you can see it now. If I open LMS now, you can see there's now package.json. It's now you because it's untracked yet. Okay, so if I now click on the source control, because I want to take this to GitHub as well. So once I click, you can see this is the only change that is untracked. That's why it's the only one showing here. So if I click on this plus to add it, it will change from U to A now. Then I can add a commit message. I can say is it a feature? No. So this is a show. So show is when you're not creating a feature. A feature is something that can be interacted with, something that you can visually see. But show is when you're just preparing to do something like creating this package.json. So I can say package JSON file. So this is a description of the kind of change I want to commit. Okay, so then I click on the commit. So once I click on commit, you see now it's committed. So everything is now in my local Git. So if I click on sync is when you want to make it, if you want to push. If you want to push, you use sync. So, and this sync, what it does is that first of all, it will fetch what is in GitHub, and then add up the code you've done, the new code like the package.json that you just added, and push everything back again. So I'm going to click on sync. So if I click on it, will tell me this action will pull and push. You see, first of all, it will pull what is from the GitHub, then it will now push commits from and to develop. So this is the branch that is going to. So if I click OK now, then it's going to do that sync. Okay, so that sync is done now. Sync is done. So you can also see other things you can do with Git, this source control Git extension. So if I go back now, you see there are only two, auth and key and name. If I refresh, I should be able to see elements because there is now a file in elements. So if I click here now again, you see there is now elements here. So now I have the three of them. So that is how you keep making your changes to your code, and it's now on GitHub. So imagine if something happens to this, my laptop or something, all my code are already on GitHub. So you can always check out how to open a GitHub. I think I have a video on how to create a GitHub account and have your own repos set up in such a way that you can always have your codes on GitHub. Please, if you like this, please hit this like button, and if you have any questions and concerns, drop them in the comment section. Please like and share my videos. Thank you. God bless you.